I always start these workshops this way, but it is important that you know how to teach dialects. Even if you don't plan to work with actors, even if you don't plan to ever teach a dialect, knowing dialects expands your expertise. It makes you a better teacher and it makes you more of an expert. And if we're working in reverse, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but working with someone who wants to reduce or learn to use a more general American accent and their current accent is New York, it's helpful to know those features. So it works both ways, and knowing dialects just makes you a better teacher. It also helps your ESL students. I always use dialects as training exercises for my ESL speaking students. We play around with different sounds and rhythms and intonations of, to them, more exaggerated dialects. They don't want to always sound like New York. They don't want to always sound Southern. They want to sound general, neutral, the neutral American accent. So they're much more free to play around with dialects. To them, it's like playing a character. So I can get them to do things with their rhythm and with their vowels and with the way they connect words in a dialect like New York or like Southern that they're not comfortable to do when it's them speaking the general American. So playing with dialects as a training exercise, it really helps to break down those psychological barriers. And I do this very often with my regular accent modification, accent training, non-native speaking students. And I encourage you to do it. I wish I had research on why it works. I'm sure someone does. I don't know why it works. It just always does. So that's another reason to know about dialects. There is a market for people who want to lose or reduce their New York accent. I've worked with tons of people who wanted to lose their New York accent. I love a New York accent. And if you listen to my speech, I'm not from New York, but often people think I am because I've picked up so many things from when I lived there. So I love the accent. However, there are some people have some not so great perceptions about the New York accent. And when you're living with an accent, this can start to wear on you. And I've had many people who have trained to use a more general sound coming from New York. So there's definitely a market for this. Now, I really want to make sure that everyone understands that I'm not saying that any dialect is good or bad or better or worse than any other accent or dialect. But listen, I'm one of these people. There are people out there who don't feel comfortable using the speech patterns of their regional accent or dialect in their daily lives. I am one of those people. I changed my accent. We all have our reasons. It is not for anyone to judge if we choose to change the way we speak. There are reasons. There are personal reasons, professional reasons. We don't like the perceptions from other people. We want to express our ideas without being told that our accent is cute or funny or some other adjective that doesn't describe us. Maybe we're tired of being asked where we grew up, but it's our choice. And it's not, as teachers. So as a student, it's up to us. It's our choice to change the way we sound. As a teacher, it's not up to us to decide whether changing a native accent is right or wrong. If a student comes to us with the request, we should help them because we have the skills to do it. So I know that this is a hot topic and sometimes those lines get blurred, but this is how I explain it to people. It's the student's choice. I have the skills to help them, so I will. So if someone comes to you and wants to lose, they will say lose their New York accent. I would never say that. They say it. But I would say to them, yes, I can teach you to use the general American accent, the broadcaster speech. It's the most neutral accent in America. It's not tied to any specific location, and it comes with fewer unfair judgments and preconceptions. So there is a market for this. And it leads me to my next point. I think you've all heard me say this before, but it is important. If you believe that all accents are equal and are beautiful and should be treated equally, and you should believe that because it is true. The whole world doesn't agree with us yet, but it is true. But if you believe that, then you need to back that up by knowing how to teach more than just the general American accent. If you're only teaching general American, that's kind of putting it out there that that's the only accent you think is worth learning. So just by knowing some dialects and being able to teach dialects, even if you don't do it often, you are backing up the fact that you believe in accent equality. And if you haven't had to justify your work in accent training yet, I am sorry to say that you will. It's going to be, you're going to have to explain why you do what you do, and you're going to have to justify why you help people change their accent. And one of the ways that I justify it and justify that I'm doing more good than harm is that I can teach you any accent. I'm not, you choose. I'm not saying this is better. I teach accents. This is what I do. So that's one of the other benefits. The last benefit is that teaching accents and dialects to actors and voiceovers is a wonderful niche market. You have the skills to do it. You need to learn a little bit more. You need to learn more about the different accents and dialects and the sounds and features. And you need to learn how to work with this specific type of student, but you definitely have the skills. And since our last dialect workshop, which was about 6 months ago, we did Southern, I know at least 5 teachers in the program have started offering dialect services. So 5 of you, and to me, that's a big number. It makes me so happy, have gotten to the point where you're confident enough with dialects to offer that as part of your services. So other teachers are doing it. If you're not, you can. I encourage you to dive into this a little more and expand your services. So those of you that are doing it, congratulations. I think it's amazing, and keep up the great work.